In this video, I'm going to share with you 5 secrets to creating an amazing content plan. What? Oh, it's a secret. So cheesy. I started a podcast a number of years ago that totally failed. The reason was it was past where my audience was. See, I help counselors that are starting, growing, and scaling a private practice. But at the time, I wanted to make a jump. And so I started teaching people how do they become a consultant. But most of my audience at that time was just starting a practice. It was too far beyond them. And so I got a handful of listens, but not enough to make it worth my time. So I stopped it. See, sometimes you create content and you totally bomb and you just gotta let it go. Other times you really nail it. The first tip I wanna give you is to look at your current audience. Where are they at now and what do they need to be successful now? And where are they headed? What's that natural next step? That's where your product and your content should be, is that natural next step. So when you're looking at your current audience, we wanna look at a couple of things. What are their pains? Where are they getting stuck? How are they staying organized? What is it that they need? No matter what your specialty is or the kind of content you create, you can serve that up to people in a lot of different ways. So when you're working with your current audience, you wanna look at where people are at. You want to say, okay, here's where their pains are. Here's where they're getting stuck. Here's how they're not staying organized. And then to look at the kind of questions that you're getting. When people email you, what do they ask? When you do an Ask Me Anything, what are people asking? Keep track of those top questions that people ask, and that's where your content should start. And then you're going to want to look at that content, see what resonates, gets more views or reads or listens, and then replicate that because people are resonating with it. Test it, analyze it, experiment, and then within that, what you want to do is replicate what you've already done. Number 3, you want to go through all that advice that you're giving. You want to think to yourself, okay, if my ideal client was sitting in front of me, what would be the top 7 questions they would ask? And what are the top 7 answers I would give? Where do people get stuck over and over? But also, we want to be visionaries. We want to look forward and say, you may not even realize the potential here. So when I'm working with someone that's starting a practice, I may pepper in that they should really work towards a group practice because I know that's going to help them grow their income. As well, we've developed products to help them along that journey. So when you do that, when you have a vision for your client that maybe is broader than what your current client has, you're better able to create content that helps move them faster through that process. Because your content really is all about saving people time and helping them be more successful. The next secret behind a great content plan is looking at the next 2 to 3 months. A lot of people will do an annual content calendar, which is fine if you're a really established business, but I want you to be able to quickly change course if things aren't working. So for the next couple months, what you're gonna do is you're gonna look at the top questions that you're getting on a regular basis. Where are those pain points? And then you're gonna schedule out different blog posts, podcasts, videos, whatever your content's gonna be around those. You can even reach out to your audience and say, hey, next month, I'm gonna be answering questions all about X. What questions do you have? Use something like SpeakPipe to get people to call in and leave a message for you. Or do a Facebook Live that you schedule and you email out to your list. The more of those questions that you get from people, the more that you know that you're resonating with your audience. Let your audience guide you. Don't feel like you have to come up with everything. They're gonna tell you what they need, and then you can respond to that in turn. Next, we want to be inspired outside of your field. So I own a mental health practice, but I listen to all sorts of great people like Pat Flynn, John Lee Dumas, Jay Papasan. Listen to people that are outside of the field of counseling. So for you, whatever your specialty is, yes, you want to know what's going on within that, but you need to be out there and listening to people and being inspired by people outside of your particular specialty. That's going to do a few things. It's going to help you think in a way that's different from your audience, because a lot of your audience might just be listening to people in that circle. So you're going to be thinking outside of that. As well, you're going to be able to discover new talent that maybe you never would have thought about. Also, you're going to stand out in a way that other people maybe don't think about standing out. So those 5 tips again are: who is in your current audience and where are they headed? Next, questions you're getting. Next, the most common advice you give. 4th is plan out your coming 2 to 3 months. And 5th is be inspired outside of your field. But I want to give you a bonus item today as well. Go take imperfect action. I don't know who I heard it first from, but imperfect action is more important than perfect inaction. When you have an idea for a blog post, go write that blog post. When you have an idea for a podcast, go record that. Take action to create content that gets out to your audience. Even if you just pull out your phone and do a Facebook Live. Literally 20 minutes ago when I was in line at the bank, I pulled out my phone and did a Facebook Live about how to get more done and how to prioritize. It was about a minute and a half while I was sitting in my car waiting, but it was an important way to just show you need to get more done. Take imperfect action, your audience will love it. Hey, if you want more resources like this, head on over to practiceofthepractice.com. We've got a ton of resources there for you, especially the podcast, where I interview top business professionals that inspire me to become a better person. People that I look up to, that I love listening to, they're on the podcast. Would love for you to subscribe to this channel below and go take some imperfect action and get more content out there in the world. The world needs to hear what you have to say. You are an expert in a specific area. Go out there and let the world know. That sounds stupid.